Welcome and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Monday, September 11, 2023, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva. First off, let's take a moment to acknowledge the day. And September 11th, obviously, a day of remembrance in the U.S. The people lost and the ongoing struggle of the first responders to make sure that they've got everything they need for them and their families, the many who perished, and of course those that are continuing to have repercussions from putting their lives on the line on that day. So keep that in mind. Anyway, today we're going to look at Dyson Logos maps. That is a guy who I'm a fan of and a Patreon of. Hey, George is in the chat. How you doing there, George? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Well, a couple of weird things today. First of all, I just had a talk with my buddy Vince, who's player in some games I run, first edition games, and we were talking yesterday about how this translates from the video that I do, and when I convert it to audio podcasts and upload it to Spotify, which I do. How does it translate? There's Vince himself. There you go. Welcome to the chat, Vince. So my apologies on this one because this is going to be a very visual episode as I extol the virtues of Dyson Logos cartography. Um, I don't have any idea how it translates. And also, my apologies for, I was talking about progrock.com and how my friends Mark and Raina do a weekly show called Music in Widescreen from 6 to 10 p.m. 6 to 9 p.m. Central on progrock.com. And as I popped into their Discord to listen to the shows, they had taken the day off after, I don't know, they've done like somewhere around 1,000 shows, maybe over. And they don't miss many over the dozen years they've been doing it. Only a few times, I think, when they had major technical difficulties or something, did they miss a show. And last night they had somebody filling in for them, and I have no idea why. I didn't stick around to find out. I kept the music on for a little bit. It wasn't really mainly prog. The guy was playing some Zeppelin and some other things, and I, I don't know if there's some people that call Led Zeppelin prog rock, and I suppose some of the songs could be prog adjacent, but it's rock and roll. It's classic rock and roll. It's great classic rock and roll, but I wouldn't call it prog. So I don't know. I didn't stick around. I was rewatching or I was watching the rebroadcast of the earlier Cubs game. They finally took one from the Diamondbacks after losing the first three in a 4-game series, and maybe that 1 out of 4 keeps them in it. Keeps them in the wild card hunt with only about 20 games left in the season. I think their chances are quickly dwindling and diminishing. Not that anybody's getting past the Braves in the National League. Dodgers have some problems with their pitching, spending some time behind bars, at least one guy. So they shot themselves in the foot over there. But those were the two teams that beat in the National League, Dodgers and Braves, and it looks like the Braves are probably going to be the team to beat on this half of the equation. Other half of the equation, I don't know. But the Brewers lost to the Yankees, who are the cellar team on the East Coast. Oddly, no one would have predicted that after their great year last year. But this is not a baseball podcast. This is about This is about Dungeons and Dragons and Dungeons and old school Dungeons and Dragons related stuff. So let's definitely talk about Dyson Logos. I queued up his website to take a look at that, and there you go. Well, it wants me to exit full screen. I keep a link directly to the commercial maps because those are the ones I like to snag. There's just so many cool ones, and but he has free maps for anybody. Tutorials, adventures, cities and towns, inns and taverns, multi-page dungeons, geomorphs, vertical morphology, sewers, and then there's a link to some Kevin Campbell stuff. But let's go to all maps because that'll include not just the ones that are under license, under Creative Commons license. So here's his map archive. And he's got some neat stuff on here. He shows you the various elements and he just draws them, but these are little drawings of what he would draw on a map to signify various types of things in dungeons, like a worked wall, a double door. There's crypts over here, boxes and barrels, lake or pool, different types of stairs, and of course going up and going down, and how he depicts that. Cave under a ledge. That's something we ran into yesterday, huh, George? Or, Vince. George didn't make it out yesterday. Didn't make it out, George. Why is that? You had a lot going on, or watching the ball game, watching the. I know we were interfering with the Bears Packers game, our D&D game, second Sunday D&D game, first edition, mid level. Would have run over into the 3 o'clock Bears Packers game. Bears lost handily. They made a pretty good go of it in the first half, but they got their butts handed to them elsewise. There's a beauty of a map right there. A lot of, for those watching the podcast and not able to see the maps, a lot of his maps are, well, there's hatching all around the edges of the map to depict where rock is. A lot of his maps are include both cavern and worked dungeon elements. There's some real beauties here too. I suggest you go to his website, which he calls Dyson's Dodecahedron, an RPG blog with a few maps. No, he has thousands of maps. George points out that Dungeon Alchemist now has a map overlay trace. You can trace a Dyson Logos map and include LOS for VTT use, which is very handy. A lot of people use Roll20 or other uh, virtual tabletops, and they like to be able to use fog of war situations, and also just be able to uncover it as you go and have it all included, and also the lighting. Be able to use the lighting elements that, say, Roll20 or other virtual tabletops might also have. So, yeah, good tip. Thank you, George. That's very useful. Um, Looking at the website, he's got some character sheets, which can be cool. Well, he's got some straight up characters that he's published over the years. Character sheets, they're not over here. Oh, here they are in the download section. He's got some really nice character sheets he created, and they're old school looking, and he plays in a lot of different games himself, so feel free to check all of those out. I see Gangbusters, Broadsword, Neoclassical. He's got close to a dozen sheets there from various game systems. So check us out. He's got his own house rules, some random tables, which are fun. I actually checked out some of the random tables and used them in a couple of different games just for some weird weird interactions. Potion containers. Let's check what that has real quick. Multiple tables. It looks like there are half a dozen tables here, including label markings, potion label, decorations, closure, special shapes. That's beyond potion container shape. One of the 10 items in there is special shape, and then you roll on the sub table. Potion container material. 1 to 10, glass, iron, tin, gourd. Don't roll for shape. Ceramic, clay, animal or monster body part. Maybe the horn of a demon or something. Crystal, leather. In case of leather, you don't roll for shape either. And then glass. And then the container shapes: test tube, classic bottle, square bottle, spherical, ovoid rather, glass, conical, decanter with a handle, multifaceted, and then you can roll a 10, you go to the special shape chart. Oh yeah, line of sight, George, absolutely that. For virtual tabletop use, it helps set that up. Um, it's a humanoid, the special shapes: humanoid skull, cluster of grapes or other fruit, grinning goblin face, plump woman, or a fist. I don't know. Let's see. Closures. Ah, yeah. A D10 for those too. Cork with sealing wax, screw on lid with sealing wax, leather tied on. Carved wooden plug, tree sap, glass cap, must be broken to be opened, or a loose metal cap. So there's all sorts of things on his thing. And if you also look off to the right over here, you'll see there's a link to his Patreon, or as little as $1 a month, you can become a patron and help him and support his efforts. And he does so much, it's just fantastic. So you would hope that folks would throw in. I've been a Patreon supporter of his for, I don't know, going on 7 years, something like that. And it has been a treat just picking up his maps. I use them. I was going to use one yesterday if the group had gotten a little further. I always prepare for my second Sunday games with probably 3 or 4 games worth of stuff. They went one way. They could have gone a different way. They might have done other things. So, hey, Lou Blanc, 84. Okay. Hey, thanks for stopping in today. Yeah, that's me. Sometimes I use the screen for showing other things. And of course, the cam, for those who are picking this up on the podcast, the cam just shows my ugly mug in one corner of the screen when I'm not showing something else. In any event, we're about at that time anyway. I think we're a little over it actually. So I just want to say thank you all very much for popping in the chat today. And I'm glad that we were able to highlight Dyson Logos' hard work. He does a great job, and I appreciate everything he does very much. So there you go. And let's just say thanks again to everybody for stopping in, showing off these Dyson Logos map on this day. The show streams live on Twitch each Monday at 10 a.m. Central, 10 to 15-minute show, and then is archived on YouTube. Be sure to like or subscribe or follow, chime in on the chat, leave comments, thumbs up, all that good stuff. It's very much appreciated if you can. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Lysing with Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the Antipa D&D 20, Dave O'Brien of Four Quacks Games, and Shane Bradley, DM Extraordinaire. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Bye-bye.